All right, everybody. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well today. I know I'm a little bit late with this one, but better late than never. The Seahawks and the 49ers have injury reports for Tuesday. Since we play Saturday this week, of course, we're getting our report just a day early. Going to get the final game statuses on Thursday this week. You guys know how it works by now. We played on unconventional days enough this year for you guys to get into the flow of things. Okay, so we've got the tweet from Hawk Blogger here. He, as he typically does, puts both teams' reports in the same image, which I always like. So we're going to be taking a look at the image that he posted earlier today. And both teams have a fairly long list of injuries, but when you get down into the nitty-gritty of it, both teams seem to have a fairly decent idea of what they're going to have and not have this upcoming weekend. All right, so let's zoom in on the Seahawks side of things first and take a look at what we got. All right, everybody, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about a wonderful app called Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get all kinds of scores, sports news, and sports alerts with blazing fast speed. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports with other people in a community. Download the Sleeper app today and remember to use the promo code SBN, that is SBN, for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And they also have a free $20 entry right now, no deposit required. So pair those two up. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. Check out the Sleeper app and have fun with sports this year. Okay, so let's get the easy stuff out of the way first. We've got several players that were full participants in practice today, including some that did not play in previous games. So encouraging stuff here. Definitely good news. Elijah Arroyo, full participant. So therefore, looks like he's on track to be able to play this weekend. It's not a guarantee, but given the fact that he was able to practice last week as well, it looks like we're good. And AJ Barner, with the hip injury that he's been dealing with for a little while now, full participation. So it looks like both our top tight ends are on track to play. Kobe Bryant, who missed the last few games, is also a full participant, so that bodes well for him. And Charles Cross, who we do expect back, full participant with the hamstring. So right off the bat, looks like this Seahawks team gonna be pretty healthy. Now, that's not to say everything is going to be perfect here. We do have a bevy of guys that are limited, although I would remind people that the Seahawks did not play last week. They had a light week of practice last week. So very good chance anybody they have that is limited is going to be perfectly fine by the time the game starts on Saturday. You've got JSN and Leonard Williams limited, not injury related, so we're not really going to talk about those guys. There's nothing to talk about with JSN or Williams. We got DeMarcus Lawrence, though, and this is a new one, a little bit unexpected. Definitely saw some Seahawks fans that were not thrilled with this injury announcement. Achilles, which right away kind of makes you flinch a little bit because you know that an Achilles injury is capable of being a big problem. He was limited, though, so whatever it is seems pretty darn minor. It would be definitely kind of weird if we didn't hear anything about an injury to DeMarcus Lawrence 2 weeks ago when we played, and we heard nothing about him getting hurt coming out of that game. And last week everything seemed fine, and then suddenly, oh, he can't play, or he's going to be significantly hampered by this injury. So I'm not going to worry about it, but it wasn't exactly the most welcome thing in the world to see. Also in that same boat is Tariq Woolen with an oblique injury. Did not see that on the report last week. Limited. Now, it is worth noting that DeMarcus Lawrence is very much a veteran. Tariq Woolen at this point is kind of a veteran as well. And you can give those guys rest on some pretty dubious or maybe even non-existent injuries, and it wouldn't be that surprising. Woolen a little bit more. I'm a little bit less sure about the Woolen part of it, but I I feel like if this was something really serious, we would have heard something about it from McDonald last week or yesterday even. So don't really know what's going on there. It is definitely interesting that those guys apparently picked up something during a bye week, or maybe they picked up something coming out of the Niners game 2 weeks ago and just didn't say anything. But again, limited participation on Tuesday means they are probably good to go. It's worth noting that this practice could easily be a relatively light one. And the final guy listed as limited today was Chaz Surratt, who has been injured for a few weeks now. I think he got injured against the Titans, and we opened his practice window today. So he might be able to come back this weekend. I would expect probably not. It's not like he plays a lot anyway. He's just a special teamer. But it is worth noting that we opened up his practice window, which means we only have, think, I think we have like one slot left for players to return off injured reserve. And the only guys left are Helani and Horton, and we've already been told Horton's not coming back. So Helani's the only guy kind of hanging in limbo now. All right, that's it for the limited guys. The DNPs, we had two. Two did not participate, and they're both backups. Josh Jones with the knee injury. So that means remember, he had two injuries on the last injury report. Now it's down to one, so that's good. But DNP, we were told in that last game that he just barely got through it. He had to really gut it out, so it's not shocking that he's a DNP today. Again, he's a backup, so hopefully we're not even going to need him. But I do hope that he's at least available because Cross is coming back after not playing for about a month. We also got Tyrese Knight with a shoulder injury. I did not participate. Not sure when that happened. Don't know when that came from. I didn't see anything with him last week. But again, he's a backup. And the Seahawks have gotten really good play out of their linebackers, especially in recent weeks. So I don't think that would be a particularly big deal either. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Remember, the first day of practice, you don't want to read too much into it, especially on a week like this week. All right, so that's it for the Seahawks side of things. Let's go over to the 49ers. Now, the 49ers didn't actually practice today, so everything you're about to see is an estimation. I would not read very much into any of this until we get tomorrow's report. Tomorrow will tell us, is this stuff for real? Do we have anything to really think about here? Today was just, they're trying to keep it light because they just played a pretty tough game on Saturday. No, Sunday, excuse me. Okay, so first, we've got one full participation here. It's Jacob Cowing, the wide receiver with the hamstring injury. Obviously, hamstrings are tricky, but full participant on Tuesday means he's probably fine, and they need him because they've got enough issues at wide receiver, excuse me, without having to think about Jacob Cowing potentially missing a game. So that should be fine. They've got a lot of limited participation peeps, and limited participation is going to mean something different for each player. And again, this was a walkthrough, so I wouldn't expect this to even really mean all that much. This is just kind of keeping things super vague. You got Gross Matos with a knee injury, but I think he's fine. I think he'll be able to play. Here, Saul, limited participation. He's a little bit less clear, right? Because he's a guy who gets hurt constantly just in general. And I don't know if Pearsall's going to be able to play in this game or not. He was limited today. In theory, that's a good sign. But again, it's a walkthrough. I don't really know how to read into that. He did not practice at all last week. Let's see what happens tomorrow when the Niners presumably actually practice. Dominic Pooney, limited. I imagine that he'll be able to play on Saturday. Fred Warner, on the other hand, limited. And the Niners did open his practice window this week. I think they opened it today. But it is worth noting the Niners have already announced they don't think he's going to be able to play this week, and they're hoping that he can play in a hypothetical NFC Championship game. So probably no Fred Warner. In fact, given the fact that Kyle Shanahan, who is typically pretty optimistic and rosy about injury stuff, said it, I would say almost certainly no Fred Warner. Keon White, battling through a hamstring injury and a groin injury, was limited today in the walkthrough. So I think he'll be able to play. Same for Trent Williams. No way Trent Williams misses this game unless he got hurt coming out of that Eagles game somehow and nobody noticed it. He was listed as limited, but he should be fine. And then you got D. Winters with the ankle injury, limited participation. Niners need every last linebacker they can get, by the way, because they are super thin there. So that's obviously going to be crucial tomorrow to see. But for today, we got limited. And we got two guys listed as a DNP. One was Jair Brown, who Kyle Shanahan has already said he's not going to be able to play. Shanahan's already basically come out and said, don't expect Jair Brown. And they got Siegel out there, and he's actually playing okay for them. So I think they're going to ride with that. Then you've got Luke Gifford, linebacker, with the quadricep injury, did not participate. Now, the thing with Luke Gifford is he's not a starter for them, but the Niners need every linebacker they can get right now because they are so thin there. It's unbelievable. So that might end up actually having something of an impact here. And that's all we got right now. Keep in mind that there's some stuff going on with the Niners that goes beyond just the injury report because they have so many guys that aren't even potentially able to practice. So this doesn't even scratch the surface of the injury issues the Niners have had this year, but it does kind of, at the very least, set things up for a more informative report tomorrow. So definitely keep your ear to the ground for tomorrow's injury report, and we'll see what where things actually land. But Seahawks looking almost as healthy as advertised. I will acknowledge the DeMarcus Lawrence and Reek Woolen injuries are a little bit of a, I don't know. It's something to think about as we go through the as we go through the rest of the week. It's not something I think we were anticipating. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your night. Should be on Twitch later. See you soon.